My name is Dawson and I'm 18 years old, and instead of spending my gap year working, partying and having fun with my friends, I was stuck in this hospital having chemotherapy, radiation and an assortment of needles. Being told you have cancer at such a young age isn't something I ever thought was in the cards for me. Being honest, it still feels like it was a traumatising nightmare. I'm not sure it will ever completely sink in that I've had cancer. It doesn't matter what age you are, those words still scare everybody. It has no age limit. It doesn't care if you go to the gym every day, eat healthy, or sit down and watch Netflix all day. Cancer grabs onto those of us who least expect it. You can't see it, cancer cannot speak, cancer doesn't care who you are. It just starts growing inside of us, and the faster it grows, the faster you die. At some point, I may have sat in front of the microwave for too long, had a bad glass of water, or maybe I just have dodgy DNA. On April 4th of this year, I was diagnosed with classic Hodgkin's lymphoma, which is a form of blood cancer that begins in the white blood cells, called lymphocytes. These abnormal lymphocytes formed collections of cancer cells in my lymph nodes. I had an 8 by 3 centimetre cylindrical tumour sitting in between my lungs, right underneath my sternum, like a ticking time bomb, that I just couldn't see. I was told by one of my doctors that without any treatment, I would have between 6 to 12 months to live, or longer if I was lucky. The 6-month mark was last month. I was with my mum when I found out this news. Now my dad, he works away, so he didn't come to any appointments or really knew what was going on. So the day that I found out that I had cancer, I had to call him and tell him that his oldest daughter was diagnosed with cancer. I dialed his number into my phone and called him. He kept going on about how my car needed a service. But then I told him, Dad, we just got back from the surgeon's office. I heard his voice crack and shake. My dad never cries. I've probably seen him cry twice in my whole life. And then I heard him just start asking, why you? Why now? I asked myself those questions a couple of times this year. I'll give you a little snippet of how perfect my life was. I graduated last year with good marks, got a teacher's assistant job at my old high school that only 12 out of 250 students get. I went to schoolies, got a car, played in 2 touch teams, coached a junior team, played an Oz tag team, and I had the most amazing group of friends. And well, I thought this year was going to be the best one yet. It turns out my life was too perfect and cancer decided to ruin it. The only reason why I'm alive today to tell you this story is because a lymph node in my neck became enlarged and I felt it one day in January. Sorry. I was sent away multiple times being told it was nothing, and tests kept coming back saying it was nothing. However, I just knew that something wasn't right. So in March, my surgeon decided to remove it for proper testing just to be sure. A week later, I was diagnosed with cancer. From there, my world just snowballed, from PET scans, heart scans, lung function tests, and meeting the haematologist that was going to try to save my life. My haematologist appointments were always the scariest. For example, I received PET scan results one day before I turned 18, that my doctor and my team were convinced would show a complete metabolic response, which technically means remission. But instead, I was told the chemo worked, but not well enough. So I had to escalate my chemotherapy, and from there I spent pretty much every day at the hospital. Most of my time was spent in the boring waiting room, in uncomfortable chairs and hundreds of eyes on me all the time. No offence to old people, but you really like to stare. Which, being honest, was one of the hardest parts of being a young person with cancer. I just needed to sit down and put my headphones in and almost meditate to get just through each day. But every time I looked up, at least 5 people were staring at me before I was looking at them. The scariest part about chemotherapy was trying to sleep after your treatment. After chemo, I would lay in my room, sick beyond your imagination. I felt alone and there was nothing I could do but sleep. I did not even have the strength to call out for my mum or pick up the phone to call her. I just wanted to tell her I was scared I would never wake up again. It felt like my organs were shutting down, my heart was racing, and I felt every single part of my body struggling and fighting. Every time I would fall asleep after chemo, I was never sure if I was going to wake up. Feeling like you're actually dying is just an unbelievable feeling that I wish I would never have to feel again. 5 months after I was diagnosed, the word remission, I was told I was in remission on normally the unlucky day, Friday the 13th. The word remission is not just a word that means cancer-free. It means that all the pain, suffering, hair loss, needles, scans, tears, injection, isolation and stress is worth it. I mean, I still had a month or so to go, yet I got to say the word remission. Some people never ever get to say that. I'll treasure those words for the rest of my life and live my life to the fullest for those who have lost the battle. I lost a very dear friend of mine a couple of weeks ago to prostate cancer. Myself and my friends would visit him in his last few days. He was a very important part of our schooling life and he became a valued friend. He told me, live a long, exciting life and be bad. Be very bad. We were diagnosed in the same week and sadly he didn't get to say he was in remission like I did. However, I knew that he was proud of me. I heard it from countless people after he passed away. They would tell me that he wouldn't shut up about how awesome it was that I was going to be okay. So today, I'd like to dedicate my speech to him and all the others who are not here. I met a beautiful girl in August through the Sony Foundation. Myself, her, and all the other You Can champions got to walk through this centre and check it out for the very first time. This was on a Monday. She was so lovely and we all just hung out and chatted all things cancer. On the Thursday, we all got a message saying that she'd passed away. That's when reality really hit me in the face. I was fighting for my life and I didn't want to say her name out of respect, but let me tell you, she was a truly gorgeous and beautiful soul. And I wish you could be standing with all of us to open this beautiful centre. Sorry. Look around, it does not feel like we're in the hospital. And if you haven't sat on the couches yet, you're missing out. The colours are so calming and it just gives everyone a sense of peace and calmness. It's hard to put into words what this centre truly means to us. Unfortunately, I never got to use this space while I was in treatment. However, a friend of mine from Bundaberg was diagnosed with leukemia a few weeks ago. He's been staying at this hospital and he told me that he's been using the centre a lot. He told me it was a breathtaking and amazing to have a space that I can go myself and have no distractions, and to just be on my own and enjoy the peace and not listen to the beeping machines. Just fresh air. I've been helping him get through the diagnosis and treatment process, as no one really knows how hard it is unless you've been through it, especially as an 18-year-old who is just starting out life. So I poured my cancer knowledge on him that regrettably I know all about. It is a very hard pill to swallow that you have to pause your life and you never know when or if you get to press play again. We should be worrying about what party we have to go to on the weekend or what to send to the guy we like. Instead, we sit and worry about our neutrophils, PET scans, and seeing if we'll have eyebrows when we wake up in the morning. One day during chemo, Stan Walker came around the corner and sat with me during my treatment and chatted to myself and my mum. I tried to listen to him, but my chemo brain was in full effect that day. I do remember him speaking about his cancer experience and how important mothers are, and then he asked me to come to the Brisbane for Ward event the next day. So off I went to the event in my wheelchair, and wow, wasn't it an amazing experience. Stan has been such an amazing support system for me during this time, and I've enjoyed teasing him about his song Little Black Box that I actually like. So thank you, Stan, wherever you are, for being such a pillar of strength for me during this time. The Sony Foundation You Can champs have now become my family. I've recently gone to the Sydney Walk for Ward event and met some even more amazing You Can champions. I cannot even describe to you how important it is to know people your age that are going through the same thing. It has been the silver lining in my cancer playbook. They have made a horrifically negative situation into an exciting positive one. So thank you. I also get invited to all these cool events now, and I got to meet some pretty inspiring people like Stan Walker, Samantha Jade, Jonathan Thurston, Jessica Malboy, Tones and I, and the more importantly, You Can champions. I'm just so happy that so much awareness and so much good has come out of the scariest words I've ever heard. If I could just tell everyone in this room one more thing, I do not care who you are, where you come from, or what you believe in. There is nothing in this world that we can truly control, so grab onto life and try your best to live a good one. A lot of us forget to be grateful, but please take a moment to think about all the good things you have, because your world can be flipped on its head in seconds. Thank you.